It's week 12 of the WPIAL season, which means it's week 2 of the playoffs. And tonight from Valley High School in New Kensington, Pennsylvania, the Penn Hills Indians take on the Penn Trafford Warriors in a game that will decide who will play on the turf next Saturday afternoon at Three River Stadium for the WPIAL Quad A Championship. A very pleasant good evening to you, along with my broadcast partner, Bob Orquist. I'm Bill Navari. And tonight, Bob, the Penn Hills Indians, the Penn Trafford Warriors, it's a case of two coaches where they've been criticized for not being able to win the big one, but tonight we're going to have one coach that's finally going to get to play for the big one, but it's also a tale of very contrasting offenses.
Definitely contrasting offenses in the Penn Trafford Warriors and the Penn Hills Indians. If you know your history and you harken back to the midnight ride of Paul Revere during the Revolutionary War, it was one of by land, two of by sea. Well, tonight it'll be one of by land or two of by air. And if you see one lantern in the window, you know Penn Hills is doing a good job because they definitely keep the ball on the ground. But with Penn Trafford's run and shoot, if you see two lanterns in the window, you know the run and shoot's doing a good job because Penn Trafford likes to put the ball in the air, as witnessed by their quarterback Tony Zimmerman, the only passer in the WPIAL with over 2,000 yards. But they do have a 1,000-yard rusher in running back Matt Gavrish. But that's what the contrasting offenses are tonight. Penn Hills, you know, they keep the ball on the ground. They run basically the run and they run some more, whereas Penn Hills runs the run and shoot, or Penn Trafford runs the run and shoot.
You talked about Zimmerman, their quarterback. They also have a couple of great wide receivers in Mergenovich and Schmidt. But the key to the Penn Trafford offense has to be Matt Gavrish. He's rushed for 1,500 yards on the season, caught almost 50 passes. I think the key tonight is stopping Matt Gavrish.
Well, Matt Gavrish is a big part of their offense, and I think a lot of Matt Gavrish's success running the football stems from their passing attack. And vice versa. He can open the passing attack up a little bit, but he proved he can catch the ball as well as run the football, and I think it's definitely a byproduct of the run and shoot offense that they run. You have to clog up the lanes, obviously, because you can stop Gavrish from running the football, you can stop Mergenovich from running the football, and also you can muddle up things for Tony Zimmerman, because Penn Trafford's run and shoot, they like to throw a lot of short passes, a little quick out, little quick slants, and that's the tough task facing the Penn Hills defense tonight.
The Penn Hills Indians have won 15 consecutive games dating back to starting with Central Catholic last year. They have the longest win streak in the WPIAL Quad A conference. The second one, Penn Trafford Warriors. They've lost the opener to the North Hills Indians, and they've reeled off 10 straight.
They have ruled out 10 straight last week. They defeated a tough Plum team, a team that gave Penn Hills a lot of trouble earlier this year. They defeated them in the first round of the playoffs, 36-13. And, of course, Penn Hills comes off a big victory, 35-6 over the Norwood Knights. And it sets up a great matchup. We were just talking to a few other coaches from a couple other teams, and they said it's a tough game. You got a tough opponent tomorrow. At this point in the season, they're all tough opponents, and it's going to be a tough one. And Penn Trafford, they're definitely up for the football game. Penn Hills up also, because not only do you get to the championship, but you know both coaches have that big monkey on their back, and it's the chance to get that monkey off and play on the hallowed turf next week, and that's what it's all about.
Speaking of hallowed turf, we played tonight on what you could call unhallowed turf. A lot of talk this week in the media as far as the field conditions here at Valley High School. Bob, the greenskeepers here, greenskeepers if I can call them that, have really done an excellent job of getting this field playable, but it's still a bit sloppy.
It is sloppy. Standing on now, it's soft, and it will only deteriorate through the game, and they expect some precip later on, but that may be after the game gets over. Of course, we had that freakish weather earlier in the week where some people got snow, some people got rain, and matter of fact, a couple playoff games were canceled. But tonight, they did a good job to get this field in playing good shape, and for the first few drives, it'll be good. It may deteriorate later on, but it's going to be a disadvantage for both teams, I think, because once the field gets in bad conditions, it's going to be hard to run the ball. It's going to be hard to run pass routes. It's going to be hard to plant and play defense and block, but that's why they play a football game outside, and we don't have any dome stadiums in high school, and that's why the element becomes a key factor, as do the fans. I think coming down here, Penn Hills fans were making maybe their loudest racket all year as the team went off the field after the pregame warm-ups. That will also be a key. That's 12th man.
Mark Twain once said, if you don't like the weather, wait a minute. It could get worse. They're calling for snow showers tonight, so things might just get very sloppy here later on in this game. So what is the key to both of these teams?
I think the key for Penn Hills is to have time of possession. Not necessarily score on every drive. Of course, you need to score some points. But if you can get 2 first downs, 3 first downs on every drive and go 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes, you're going to keep that Penn Trafford offense off the field. For both teams, I think field position will definitely be the biggest factor in this game.
I talked with the defensive coordinator, Tim Timko, before the game. He said that the Indians on defense are going to do whatever it takes to stop Tony Zimmerman, but they're also going to put a man. Anywhere Matt Gavrish goes, there's going to be a man on him.
I think that's what they need to do, and as our catchphrase for this season is, Bill, moxie. They need to play with moxie.
Coming up, we will see if they will play with that moxie. The winner of tonight's game will play the winner of tomorrow afternoon's Seneca Valley Upper St. Clair matchup to play next Saturday night at 8 o'clock at Three River Stadium for the WPIAL Quad A Championship. Sit back, relax. Coming up next, the WPIAL semifinals. The Penn Trafford Warriors and the Penn Hills Indians. Right here, you're watching Penn Hills Indians Football 95. The Penn Hills Indians and the Penn Trafford Warriors. The Indians take the field. They're going to receive the opening kickoff after they've won the toss. Bob, the Penn Trafford Warriors are about to kick off. The Indians winning the toss several times this season. They have won and deferred to the second half to put the defense on the field. But I think this is the case tonight where the Indians want to try to get the ball and put points on the board before this field gets too bad.
Oh, we talked about time of possession in last week against Norwood. They had several big drives, including a touchdown drive. 15 plays, 64 yards. They went for one of the touchdowns over 7.5 minutes. I'm sure they're going to like that to start the football, but they took the toss and they'll be moving left to right here at Valley High School, and I'm sure they're going to want to get some momentum, not necessarily score right away. Of course, you won't turn that down if you do score, but just to see what they can do, because there's always that feeling out process, and especially in a big game like this, there's going to be a little bit of the nerve factor.
The Indians and the Warriors brought to you by Hooters Family Restaurants, sports bars, several locations in the Pittsburgh area, including Monroeville and Station Square.
And their newest location is Monroeville.
Keith Topper on the kickoff, short, bobbled by B.J. DiNatale, and then he is just swarmed over by a tribe of Warriors. Heard about the politically incorrect World Series? We have it here in round 2 of the playoffs, the Indians and the Warriors.
Looks like Penn Hills will start at their own 32, and DiNatale had that ball hit like a shot right at him, but he was able to just stop it and got hit right there. He spotted out to the 33, and that's where Penn Hills will take over or start their first possession of the evening.
The Indian coaching staff having a problem with their headsets as we come to the opening play of the Penn Hills offense. Pitch to the near side to Victor Strader. Nice block by Lenny Gilmer in the backfield to allow Victor Strader to get some running room up. Over a first down, gets hit from behind in the back, but Strader gets out to the 45-yard line where it will be an Indian first down. And Lenny Gilmer with the block in the backfield to allow Victor Strader to get free.
And that's the athleticism of Lenny Gilmer, but Victor Strader continuing to pick up where he played all season, especially last week in the initial first down. And as I mentioned, it's key to get several first downs because that aids to the time of possession, keeps that PT offense off the field.
Again, it's Strader, this time bouncing over the left side of the line, picks up a couple. Split in the backfield with Hoggy Livingston. But the Indians running attack alive and well for the moment. You know the Indians were going to put the ball on get that running the game going.
That's potent, Bill, and I think what you got tonight, you have possibly the top rushing team against the top passing team. And that's a marquee matchup in anybody's book. And it really says something about your talent when you can boast 2 1,000-yard rushers in the same backfield.
The only team in the WPIAL to have that are the Penn Hills Indians. And again, it's Victor Strader following the pile. Tries to bust to the outside, but he picks up another few more yards. We'll call it a gain of 4.
We talk about Strader and Thompson on the season. Thompson is the number 4 rusher. Hasn't seen the ball tonight in the WPIAL. 142 on the carries and 1,181 yards. Victor Strader is number 7, 163 carries, and he has 1,094 yards. It did. Coming into tonight's action, he comes to the sideline after carrying the ball consecutively on the first 3 plays.
The Indians go to the I formation. Livingston up front, Thompson in the back. And it is Dwayne Thompson, the little big man, fights his way for an Indian first down. And the Indians are just coming right at the Penn Trafford Warriors.
As well they should, Bill. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You got to try to stop it. Penn Trafford has the task of stopping it, as does Penn Hills having the task to stop the run and shoot offense. But defensively, Penn Trafford comes in allowing a lot of points, actually. A little bit more than they like, I'm sure.
They allow 14 points per game. The Indians scoring 26.7. First man through is Hoggy Livingston on a quick break up the middle. Hoggy Livingston gets into Penn Trafford territory close to the 35-yard line. Well enough for an Indian first down. We'll mark it at the 22-yard line.
More than enough.
We'll call it the ample
Game of 22 for Hoggy, and that's that quick burst, Bill, up the middle.
It's the case. We seem to consider that the defense is keen on either Thompson or Strader, and then get a surprise with Livingston up the middle.
That quick hitter's been effective all year.
Power I formation. It's Dwayne off the right side. Dwayne drags some Warriors with him as he gets close to the 12, and another Indian first down. Jim Render, the coach of the Upper St. Clair Panthers, in attendance tonight, scouting a possible opponent for next week.
Indeed, another first down, and Penn Hills is wasting absolutely no time coming out of the huddle. We give Thompson a gain of 11, and they are picking it up and putting it down in a hurry. Off their first drive here, Penn Hills looking good.
Again, it's Dwayne off the right side. Bust 10-5, touchdown, Penn Hills! And just like that, the Indians up 6-0 with 9:12 to go in the first quarter. And Bob, I have to say, the Indian rushing attack is alive and well in New Kensington.
You can say that again. They just came out like a house of fire. They rammed it down Penn Trafford's throat, and here it is. Stop us if you can, and Penn Trafford couldn't do it. It took Penn Hills 7 plays to go the distance.
Dave Zakia on to try to point after. The Indians take the opening kickoff, 7 plays. George's snap, Strader's hold, Zakia's kick is good. 9:12 to go, first quarter. The Penn Hills Indians 7, Penn Trafford Warriors nothing. As much as we have the excitement of the Indian touchdown, now we have a case where reality about to slap the Indians back in the face, where now the defense comes onto the field in an effort to try to stop the vaunted Penn Trafford Warrior offense, an offense that is averaging almost 31 points per game. Tony Zimmerman, the quarterback, has put the ball in the air 298 times on the season. I don't think the Indians have done that in the entirety of Neil Gordon's career. Lenny Gilmer this year has put the ball in the air 43 times.
I'll tell you something, Bill. This will be the big difference here in the game. Penn Hills took just under 3 minutes on that drive. With Penn Trafford's offense, if they throw incompletions and such, the time of possession could be lopsided in the Penn Hills' favor. But this is a big test, the first key for the defense. The offense obviously came out and had absolutely no jitters. We'll see how the Indians do defensively.
Garrett Schmidt, the man in the middle downfield to receive the kickoff, flanked by Matt Gabbers, 25, and Mrjenovic, number 28. Zakia's kick is high and comes to Mrjenovic, who bobbles it at the 15-yard line, picks it up. Crosses over the 25, gets out to the 31-yard line. And that's where the Warrior offense will get underway.
So you had that trio back there of Gabbers, Mrjenovic, and Garrett Schmidt. If you add those 3 guys in, they are a big part of Penn Trafford's offense, both rushing the football and catching the football. The number 1 and 2 receivers are Schmidt and Mrjenovic. Gabbers is the number 2 rusher in the WPIAL, and they account for a lot of Penn Trafford's offense. Matter of fact, 88% of Zimmerman's completions have been to one of those 3.
Gabbers, the lone setback. Zimmerman with a quick look, hands go up, and the ball is dropped on the far side of the field. It's Schmidt. And that's what you're going to see most of the evening, the quick drop back and the throw.
That is a Penn Trafford offense. They don't do a lot with their blocking schemes. It's a quick drop, usually by Zimmerman. They don't look downfield. They have a lot of slants, a lot of quick crosses. You saw Schmidt, that was a 4-yard pattern. He just couldn't come up with it at the 35-yard line.
Mrjenovic wide to the far side. And it's Zimmerman on the quick drop, looking to the far side of the field to Mrjenovic, who bobbles it, catches it, pulls it in. But the Indians are there to smother him as he picks up 5. Talked with Tim Timko before the game. He says the key is not so much as getting the pressure on Zimmerman as it is rushing him with the hands in the air to try to take away that quick drop, take away the sight, perhaps the low trajectory of the ball.
And clogging up the lanes, like we said. And Mrjenovic does run the football a little bit. And Gabbers is really their only true running back, where Mrjenovic will come out of that slot formation or come in motion, and he will run the football. He's a double threat, but top receiver in the WPIAL went on the season. That is his 73rd catch.
Gabbers on the draw, and he's brought down in the backfield. Nothing doing there. There's Mike White, who comes up saying, not this time. And the Warriors will have to punt on their first possession of the game. Gabbers was the lone back behind Zimmerman, and one receiver wide to the right trips to the left.
Will be throughout the night. Gabbers is the lone back.
Dan Flambard to punt for the Warriors. They send Kanzuski in motion. Low kick. Dwayne Thompson sees a bounce in front of him and lets it stay there. And the Warriors will down it at the 35-yard line, and the Indians starting almost where they began their first possession.
They started at the 32, and Flambard, the kicker, took 2 steps and just booted it. No jump, just kind of a walk up. I don't know if he was afraid of a threat of a rush, but there was none, and not too great of a kick by Flambard.
Livingston and Strader split in the backfield, and it's Victor Strader, second man through, cuts to the outside, back to the end. He's brought down after picking up about 8. Victor Strader not afraid to fly through the air to pick up the extra yardage.
We're going to give him a gain of 9, and he was airborne as Penn Trafford made the tackle. I think it was Flambard who was one of the men who helped him down, but Strader put his body in the air and was kind of suspended there for a little bit, but great gain of 9 on first down, and Penn Hills continuing to just run the football tremendously.
Livingston, first man through, fights his way for a first down. Nice running by Hoggy Livingston. He would not be denied. And the Indians pick up another first down. We talked about the Indians' size and the Warriors' speed. A lot of the speed was concerned as far as the Warrior offense goes. But the lack of size is showing here as far as they are concerned defensively.
Yeah, you see number 64 at the defensive tackle, or defensive end, excuse me, is Mike Ennick, and he's a Division I player next year. He's going to go to West Virginia. But aside from that, it's like it's been all year. Penn Hills is just too big and overpowering some teams.
It's the little big man, Dwayne Thompson, gets into Warrior territory, picks up about 6. Clock continues to roll. Close to 6 minutes to go first quarter. Penn Hills 7. Penn Trafford, nothing. Along with Bob Orquist, I'm Bill Navarre. Great to have you along. Don't forget tonight's game being brought to you by Hooters Restaurants, Station Square in Monroeville. And we thank them for allowing us to bring you tonight's action. Power I formation for the Indians. And again, it's Thompson. Thompson over the middle. There he goes. He's gone. Dwayne Thompson, his second touchdown of the game. 47 yards and 6 points for Dwayne Thompson. And the Indians are making it look too easy.
Say that again, and it is gone. Goodbye for TDDT, as he has done all year. He just scores touchdowns, and that time you said 47 yards, another first down, and Penn Hills is rolling in the first quarter.
Dwayne Thompson's 19th touchdown of the season.
Well, it took him 4 plays to go to this time 4 plays and 65 yards, and
Dave Zakia on to try to point after Jeremy George on the snap with the broken hand. Victor Strader's hold, the kick up, no doubt about it. Off the scoreboard, and good. 5:36 to go, first period. Penn Hills 14, Penn Trafford nothing.
Well, it took him 1 minute and 48 to go the distance that time, and would you say this is a fired up bunch of young men out there?
A lot of clippings in the Penn Hills locker room this week over some verbal attacks by Penn Trafford coach John Yacino.
Well, that is his style, though.
He gets his kids fired up that way.
That is, as he has done over the year, he does that. I mean, there's 2 ways to react, and Penn Hills obviously is reacting the right way. But motion plays a big part in every playoff game, and Penn Hills has it. And Penn Trafford defensively, they're going to be scratching their heads right now. Penn Hills has said, this is what we're going to do to stop us, and they have it. So far, the first 2 drives have been like a hot knife through butter.
The Warriors have to be stunned. A little over midway through the first quarter, they're already down by 14. So don't forget, this is a Warriors team averaging about 30 points a game offensively.
Yeah, offensively,
so they can score
30.8. They give up 14, and they've given that up. Penn Hills has held the ball for 4.5 minutes.
Rajenovich fields it cleanly this time, gets to the right side, looks for the lane. Almost breaks it, but he's brought down at the 31-yard line. We'll call it the 30. Again, about the same place where the Warriors started their first drive.
And they came out with their offense, just like we expected. With the run and shoot, they throw 2 passes, 1 incomplete, 1 a gain of 5, and then they try to run Gavrish, their leading rusher, in the number 2 in the WPIAL, and he stopped for a 2-yard loss. They punt, and next thing you know, Penn Hills goes down the field easily.
Again, trips to the near side. Lone receiver to the far side of Schmidt. Gabbert, the lone setback. Zimmerman. Deep drop, looking downfield for Schmidt, and he pulls it in. Still on his feet. Finally, Livingston knocks him out of bounds close to midfield. And the Warriors pick up their first down of the game.
Pickup of 18, and what they do in a lot of their patterns, you saw Schmidt, he'll come back towards Zimmerman. Zimmerman will throw the ball to a spot. The receiver will be running his route, will not see the ball coming. He'll turn around and expect it to be there. You watch Schmidt, he ran up down the sideline, came back about 5 yards for that pass. And that's the type of passes they will throw all evening long.
Again, Schmidt to the far side. Trips again near side. Gabbert. Looks like movement on the line. Mike White flies into the backfield along with B.J. Dinatale to stop Gabbert in the backfield.
Gabbert will be stopped for a loss of 2, and the flag comes down. It is against Penn Trafford for illegal motion.
I think the Indians will deny this.
They would decline that.
There's the signal from Tim Timko.
That's 2 rushes.
I don't think there's much of a lot of thought for that one.
2 rushes for a -4 so far for Matt Gavish. As you said, or we've both been saying, the number 2 rusher in the WPIAL, just under 1,600 yards, averaging 8 yards a carry, and he's at a -4 right now.
So he's averaging -2 per carry.
-2 and -4 total.
Yet just under 5 minutes to go, first period. Quick drop, the pass completed to the near side of the field, but Jeremy George is there to stop Ryan Moore. And it looks like they picked up nothing. They might have lost a yard.
I'll tell you
I believe they have. They lost a yard on that pass play.
Jacobs made the catch, but you saw Jeremy George out there quarterbacking the defense, and this is a new wrinkle. They have brought him from his defensive end more to the linebacker. He was in pass coverage, which he hasn't done a lot this year. He was directing traffic in the defensive backfield, told the safety man to come over. He shucked off the block, saw that it was going to be a short pass. He made the play all by himself. Great job by King Jeremy the Wicked.
Zimmerman with the deep drop, lays the ball out deep, and a nice catch. Beautiful catch by Robbie Jacobs.
Great catch.
And gets the Warriors down to the 25-yard line. Very important drive for the Warriors, trying to get some confidence back in after being shelled by the Indians on their first 2 drives.
And you can see the strong arm of Zimmerman there, laid it out there in a great catch. And we talk about Division I prospects in Ennick. Devon Gibson going to Pitt next year, and his teammates on the Panthers will be Tony Zimmerman, the quarterback.
So Zimmerman and Gibson were at the Pitt-Syracuse game last weekend, and Gibson told Zimmerman if he sacks him, he'll try not to hurt him, since they'll be teammates next year. Zimmerman, quick drop, looking for Schmidt. Schmidt catches it, touchdown, Penn Trafford. Just a quick timing pattern, got over the hands of Dwayne Thompson. Schmidt pulls it in at about the 10 and goes into the end zone for the Warrior touchdown. That has to put life back into the Penn Trafford Warriors.
Took them 2 minutes and 17 seconds to go the distance. And only 5 plays for Penn Trafford, and great timing pattern on the coverage. Penn Hills defensive back, and he had his back to the ball, did not turn around, did not know the ball was coming. And Garrett Schmidt, as we said, is the number 2 receiver in the WPIAL, grabs the 25-yard touchdown.
Kevin Topper to try the point after. Kick is down, the kick is blocked. Jeremy George gets in to block the kick. King Jeremy busts through the Warrior line, and the Warriors down by 8. That was a big point after. So it has to put some life back into the Indian defense. At least help lift the Indians following that touchdown. Forget the winner of tonight's game travels to the north side next week. Next Saturday evening, 8 o'clock kickoff, Three River Stadium. Either the Indians and the Warriors versus either the Panthers or the Raiders.
I'm sure Seneca Valley's coaching staff.
I was just thinking, I'm sure they're here somewhere. We saw Jim Render.
They should be here. We talked about Jim Render being here, but I'm sure they are also here scouting both teams because one way or the other, 2 of these 4 will match up next week.
And the other 2 won't. Of course, also the Riverview Raiders in contention to play at Three Rivers Stadium next week. Big game tomorrow at Mount Lebanon.
And we saw their head coach, big Jake Kappa, out there. A nice gregarious fellow he is.
That he is. Topper's kickoff goes out of bounds. I saw Jake Kappa after my wedding day. I got married. Ran into Jake Kappa.
Did you hurt him or did he hurt you?
Jake's much larger than I.
Was he was not an invitee to your wedding, was he?
Well, since we eloped, not many people were.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Overlooking your blatant romanticism there, Billy. 5-yard penalty for illegal procedure.
And the Warriors will re-kick this time from the 35.
One thing I noticed about last week's game against Plum for Penn Trafford, 10 penalties in that game, which is quite a few. That's the second time Topper's kickoff. The opening kickoff was in the same direction.
Looks like they're trying to kick to Di Natale.
And the extra point was also low, so it's line drives all 3 times from Hopper. That time a design kick.
Kickoff finds its way into the hands of Damian Germany at the 26-yard line, mark at 27. Swift kick does the job.
And it's definitely a design kick. You can see that in Thompson and Strader, the 2 deep men for Penn Hills, and obviously Penn Trafford wanting to avoid them on special teams. They're going to see quite enough of them as their defense is on the field.
Jared Smith, the center, Lenny Gilmer, the quarterback, Livingston and Strader in the backfield. First man through is Hoggy, but the ball goes to Victor Strader. Nice fake to Livingston. And Vic picks up 5. Penn Hills Indian offensive line on the left side, Mike White, Kevin McCoy, with BJ Di Natale. On the near side of the field, Teddy Fitzpatrick, DeMont Gibson, and Ronnie Graham. Damian Germany splits to the near side, I formation for the Indians. Hoggy up, Vic back, and it's Vic following the blocking of Livingston. Strader slips about a yard short of the first down. Bring up a big 3rd down for the Indians. Indians go 3 and out. What a big boost that'll be for the Penn Trafford defense.
1 of 1 in Penn Hills on 3rd down conversions. This is what I was talking about in the pregame in the early going. Get a first down here, even though you don't score, probably use up the rest of the first quarter, keeping that potent Penn Trafford run and shoot on the bench.
2 minutes ago, first quarter, the Indians 14, the Warriors 6. It's Dwayne Thompson who drops the ball, and the Warriors recover at the 38. There's the break the Warriors needed.
Number 32, Scott Kravitz with the recovery. And that's definitely a big break for the Penn Trafford Warriors, taking over at the Penn Hills 38-yard line.
Thompson had the first down, but the ball pops out. And Kravitz is Johnny on the spot. So now the Warrior offense, which scored on its last possession. In motion is Jacobs, who caught the touchdown pass. Zimmerman on the deep drop, looking to set up the screen. And it's Mrjenovic, who gets knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line by Damian Germany.
Schmidt caught the touchdown pass. Excuse me. And that's why Mrjenovic is the top receiver, comes out of the backfield. A lot of his catches are like that, not deep downfield. They go from the 38 to the 26, so pick up a 12 and another first down for Penn Trafford, and they're putting themselves right back in a position in this football game, hoping to capitalize on the turnover.
Jacobs had that real nice stretched out, laid out diving catch.
Yes, Mrjenovic now with 74 catches as he adds to his league-leading total.
Marjanovic in the slot, Gavrich in the backfield. Schmidt split wide to the far side, Twins to the near side. Marjanovic in motion. The pitch goes to Marjanovic, who slips in the backfield trying to elude B.J. DiNatale. Nothing doing there. And Marjanovic is going to lose about 5. As the first quarter continues to wind down, 1:10 to go.
Well, Penn Trafford, what would you do, Bill? They have 76 yards passing, rushing, -10. I think I'd be putting the ball in the air.
Perhaps they're trying the element of surprise.
Tried the old end around, and Marjanovic will line up in the slot. Not a true backfield, as we keep saying. Gavrich is the only true running back, formation-wise, that is, for the Warriors.
Indians coming on the blitz. Zimmerman on the rollout, throws the ball up in there, and it's caught by Schmidt. And he is popped by Jeremy George. Still short of a first down. They pick up about 10. It'll be 3rd and 5. No doubt the Warriors in 2-down territory.
The hit is beautiful, but it's the result that counts, and I'm sure they're not going to want to give up a 11-yard pass play like that. It's all nice and wanted to make a big stick like that, but Schmidt was wide open. That's the matter. The fact of the matter. 3rd and 4 for Penn Trafford.
Zimmerman fortunate he went to the deep drop. There comes the Indians again, getting the hands up, and the ball is almost rocked. And Jeremy George pops Marco Thomas.
George almost picked that off.
I think Jeremy George was looking to inflict some pain. What a season he's had.
And their offense stays on the field for Penn Trafford. So at 4th and 4 at the 21, that would be about a 38, 39-yard field goal. They decide to go for it. So Penn Hills with a big 4th down, trying to stop Penn Trafford.
4th and 6 should be the final play of the first quarter. Jacobs in motion. Zimmerman on the deep drop, and he's brought down by Mike White in the backfield.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's still on his feet, but the Indians come back and suck him in. And it looks like Ronnie Graham is still on the turf. Indians take over. Ronnie Graham just catching his breath. Or so it would seem. Gets up and he's going to limp to the near side of the field.
So a big defensive stand.
Nice pressure by Mike. Who else was in there with him? That was Mike White and... Was that Gibson?
I think it was Big Demond Gibson. It was Graham who eventually made the tackle for about the loss of 1 yard. And that's it. Penn Hills doesn't have to snap it. That ends the first quarter.
That will end the first quarter. After one period of play, Penn Hills Indians 14, Penn Trafford Warriors 6. You're watching the Penn Hills Indians football, brought to you by Hooters. Second quarter action about to begin. The Indians 14, the Warriors 6 at Valley High School Memorial Stadium here in New Kensington. The Indians moving right to left, dressed from head to toe in red, not from neck to toe. And it's Victor Strader. Gets out to about the 30-yard line. We're marking it at the 29. Picks up close to 7 yards. And the Indians, no surprise, running the ball.
Aside from the fumble by Thompson, Vince Mara, the great job rushing the football for Penn Hills. They are continuously picking up big yardage. As a matter of fact, their shortest gain has been 3 yards. 4 of their carries have only went for 3 yards, but they're just picking up big chunks of yardage. Again,
Dwayne Thompson again with the run up the middle, and there he goes. 40, 30, one man to beat. Thompson over the 20. And he's brought off from behind at the 5. Dwayne Thompson with the burst of speed up the middle, brought down by Tim Evans. And Dwayne Thompson
66 yards.
Has been the little big man tonight.
Now he's well over 100. You see him hopping and popping. I got to give credit to Tim Evans, Bill. He could have very easily quit on that play, and he kept hustling, at least temporarily staving off of Penn Hills' jaunt into the end zone. But the little big man, as he's done all year, unbelievable. TD-DT, and what an outstanding run there.
Give him credit. He comes back right after fumbling the football. Victor straight over the right side. Touchdown, Penn Hills. Victor Schrader caps off the drive with a 5-yard run. And with 10:54 to go in the first half, the Indians now up by 14, 20-6.
Well, so much for time of possession. 248 on a scoring drive, 148 on a scoring drive, 108 on a scoring drive.
I call that the mark of efficiency.
It's the end result that counts, Billy, and Penn Hills goes 78 yards this time, and Victor Strader's first score of the game is a 5-yard run untouched to the right side of the end zone, and Penn Hills is able to answer the Penn Trafford touchdown with one of their own.
Jeremy George snap, Victor Strader holds, Dave Zakia kick up, and it's good. 3 for 3 tonight for Dave Zakia. The Indians now lead 21-6. Bob, Hooters sponsors tonight's game, and they're getting their money's worth, we'll say.
Seven carries, 147 yards for Thompson and his 2 touchdowns. Strader, he has 8 carries, including that 5-yard touchdown. 50 yards
For
8 carries for Strader.
for Vic.
And 2 carries, 25 yards for Hoggy Livingston.
And you said Thompson has gone over 100.
Way over 100.
And that was only the second play of the second quarter. Wow. You know, Bob, Hooters restaurants are known primarily for their food. But we also mentioned they have TVs everywhere. You can catch just about any sporting event that's being an event anywhere.
I had a great grilled chicken sandwich 2 weeks ago.
Food is outstanding.
At Station Square.
Zakia with a high, deep kickoff. Taken at the 13-yard line by Gavrish. Tries to come up the middle, and he's just brought down. John Davidson, Corey Connors, Hoggy Livingston all in on the tackle.
This is where Penn Trafford's scoring drive started from the 30-yard line.
I will defend Hooters. They did make the news this week. The government wants them to hire Hooters guys.
They want Hooters guys.
I say butt out.
But for the government or Hooters guys?
Both. Gavrish, nothing. Dina Talley stops him for a short gain, about 2 yards.
I'm sure they'll take that. That's their first positive yardage on the ground. They had a minus 11 on 4 carries before that. Penn Hills is stuffing Gavrish. He almost gets out to actually give him a gain of 3.
The coaching staff says a lot of teams this year have mistakenly looked past Gavrish and have forgotten about letting him get loose, even out of the backfield to catch the ball or even
in years
running
past, it's been Chris Schneider. So Penn Trafford has always had a great running back to offset that passing attack.
Of course, a lot of folks, I guess it's misleading with the size of Gavrish. He's not that big. Zimmerman looking deep to Marjanovic, who was open with the ball overthrown.
And here's why it was open, Bill. It was Garrett Schmidt and Marjanovic coming down the right sideline. Garrett Schmidt cut in front of Marjanovic on a little hook pattern. Both defenders went with him. Marjanovic did just a little button hook and kept on going down the sidelines, and he was wide open. Well-designed play. Just the pass was just too far.
So now it's 3rd down. I expect we'll probably see the Indians blitz.
That's where you need communication between the defenders. One will take one man, one will go to the other man. Yeah, they blitzed on 4th down and 3 on the last drive, and I'm sure Graham may be the man to do it, but he's back in pass protection.
They don't blitz this time. Again going deep for Marjanovic. And just over his outstretched hands, Victor Strader and Gary Livingston on the coverage, and it brings up 4th down for the Warriors.
Zimmerman has a strong arm, but you need a little bit of touch. I'm telling you what, he had the man out there, but that pass was no way, not even close to being caught.
The Penn Trafford contingent on the far side of the field. You can see them on the screen there. Are just packed.
Pretty fair crowd on the Penn Hills side.
Absolutely.
More stands on this side of the field and packed more into the middle. There you can see some of the Big Red faithful.
Nice punt, fumbled by Strader at the 30, picks it up. And spins to the 33. Nice punt by Dan Flambard.
Yeah, that time it was a better job than his first time, and this time had trouble with the snap. And still the same 2-step deliberate kicking motion for Flambard, and a good kick. And Strader had a fumble, actually had touched the ball about the 35, but fumbled it back to the 30. And Penn Hills starts at the 33. which has pretty much been standard for them, right in that area of the field.
Of course, their last drive started at their deepest territory, and they took them two plays.
It took them the quickest way to get to one end of the field from the other, straight line, I guess.
Lenny Gilmer drops back to pass. And Damian Germany hauls it in at the 28-yard line. Damian Germany patiently waiting. And we'll mark it at the 26-yard line. They go from the 27 to the 26, which is about 47 yards.
Yards.
Dwayne Thompson over the right side. And the Warriors bring him down after he picks up 5.
Guess what, Billy? Who said Penn Hills can't run and shoot? That was a beautiful pass and element of surprise.
Lenny Gilmer on a nice play action. He just stood back there. Nobody was watching him.
And you'd expect it. We know Penn Hills will throw the ball 4 times, maybe 5 times a game. And but when? That's a key element, and you can see Germany was definitely behind the defender. It helped that the defensive back for Penn Trafford had slipped, but Germany with a great job of concentration and big pickup for Penn Hills.
Pitch to Strader following the blocking of Lenny Gilmer. And he gets another first down to the 16-yard line.
Well, Bill, if you like offense, I think you came to the right football game tonight. They've seen a lot of it. We still got 8:18 on the turning clock in the second quarter, excuse me.
Well, nobody said this was going to be a defensive battle tonight.
Penn Hills with a 21-6 lead and looking for more.
Power I formation. Dwayne Thompson following the crowd through, but he spins ahead for about 4. Tony Konsuski. Zeski brings him down. Call it a pickup of 3. Clock continues to run. 7:40 to go first half. The Indians up 21-6, threatening for more. And again, it's Thompson who fights his way inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line. Mark it at the 9, picks up 5. Now 3rd down. The Indians call 3rd and 2. Indians don't make it here. I'm sure they would bring on Dave Zakia. Some kicking 45-yarders in practice before the game on a muddy field. Power I formation. Little big man Thompson 5. Down to the 4. Looks like he may be... No, he does get the first down.
He did, only needed 2. First and goal for the Indians. And as the clock continues to turn, this is their longest possession time of the game. So the first possession of the game was 2:48. We're right at 3 minutes now.
Still in the power I formation, and again it's Thompson busts over the right side into the end zone. Touchdown Penn Hills. Dwayne Thompson is 3rd of the game, and the Indians now lead 27-6. 6:31 to go first half.
Let me tell you something, Bill. He may be small in stature, but he is absolutely huge as a running back, and unbelievable 3rd touchdown for TDDT, and all this man does is score touchdowns. Plain and simple.
You see him coming off the field. They send the game tapes to his brother Andre, who's out in Delaware. Say hello to Andre Thompson. So I'm sure is enjoying first half action thus far.
You know what? Dwayne deserves a big Christmas present, Andre.
Huge.
So does Dave Zakia for kicking that extra point.
I'll give the credit to Victor Strader. Low snap from Jeremy George. Strader does a nice job to get it on the tee, and Zakia puts it through for the point after. Now 28-6.
I'm sure everyone remembers, Bill, the outstanding monster game that Dwayne Thompson had against Plum, Penn Trafford's opponent in the first round. 5 touchdowns, all 5 Penn Hills touchdowns in a double overtime game. And I'm sure that's a personal high for Dwayne. He already has 3 in the first half, We still have 6.5 minutes. Penn Hills has scored on 4 of their 5 drives. The only one that stalled was the Thompson fumble, and Penn Trafford took absolutely no advantage of that drive.
So that was the longest drive of possession-wise for the Indians.
3 minutes and 6 seconds.
Coaching staff probably said let's try to eat up some clock, although I'm sure they weren't too disappointed with what's gone on so far in the first half, nor can this side of the field.
They've held the ball for 8 minutes and 55 seconds, and we played about 18 minutes here in the first half.
Dave Zakia's kick, high and short. Bounces at the 20, it's a live football. It's picked up by Vrjanovic. And Zakia gets in to make the tackle at the 31-yard line. Ordinarily, you see a kicker waiting way back, but Zakia gets right in there. Keep the kickoff return average low.
And we saw that I believe it was the first game of the year against Butler where Zakia recovered a fumble on a kickoff.
He did, he was right in there.
You know what, that's Bobby April's kind of special teams kicker.
Absolutely.
Steelers special teams coach. He's a fiery coach. He's like seeing that from his kicker, and Dave Zakia obviously enjoys doing it.
The Indians are going to come again. Here comes Graham. Deep drop by Zimmerman. Pressure, Hoggy Livingston in the face, the ball up in the air.
He threw it away.
And it's caught by Tim Timko on the near side of the field. And he doesn't run it back.
So now we get Coach Tim Timko credit for a tackle earlier this season. Now we got to give him credit for a reception. He's like Neon Dion. He's on both sides of
Does everything.
You got to give credit to the Penn Hills rush, but also credit to Zimmerman for avoiding it and knowing better not to try to force it into coverage. He threw it away and avoided the sack and the penalty.
That ball was intentionally thrown out of bounds, although it was thrown barely out of bounds. And again, here come the Indians. Graham and Livingston on the blitz. There comes Hoggy Livingston. And the pass completed to the near side of the field. Is that Vrjanovic? Yes, it is.
That's number 20.
And the Warriors get a first down.
It's Marco Thomas.
The jerseys are getting dirty already. There's a little mud slash across the 0 to make it look like an 8.
Pick up a 13 and another first down, number 5.
I think the Indians are doing what they need to do is get the pressure on Zimmerman, not allowing him to set up.
They are indeed good pressure. They're mixing up their schemes, blitzing, and then just with the normal rush, and you see they're coming. 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Here they come again. Here comes Corey Connors on the near side. Picked off by Gibson!
40,
Gibson 30! 20! He's a block! 10! Down to the 7-yard line!
Do it 2 weeks in a row. He just couldn't do it.
Oh, my!
Get that man some oxygen.
Holy cow, what can you say about the thundering herd?
He ran
Damon Gibson.
He ran 40 yards. Good night, everyone. Unbelievable.
Holy cow.
Second week.
First and goal from the 7, his second interception of the season. Second in as many games.
Well, he took last week's in for Pater. And they talked about, you heard Neil Gordon talk about disguising the schemes. Disguising the schemes and to take away the underneath pass. He drops back from the line of scrimmage into pass coverage. And it's worked 2 weeks in a row. And Thompson takes it near the goal line. Wow.
I razzed Gibson after the game last week, and I said, figures, we don't televise last week, and he scores his touchdown. He goes, but Bill, I pointed, at least I pointed.
You know he wanted it the worst way to put that into the end zone.
Oh, holy cow.
I think he might have he might have scored if he had trouble with the football.
I think he would have been the Tribune Review Player of the Month for that. And Rich Emmert nods yes. Thompson, touchdown. Holy cow. 34-6, 4:36 to go first half.
So much for the Vaughn Penn Trafford defense. Penn Hills is dismantling them. They're doing what they want. Touchdown number 4 for Dwayne Thompson. Set up courtesy of big Damon Gibson's interception return from the 42 to about the 8-yard line. And don't you think that'll make for interesting dinner talk next year at Pitt?
Oh gosh, you could feel him thundering from here. Of course, after the kick, we'll make an interesting note as far as the touchdown last week. Jeremy George snap, straighter hold, Zakia kick, up, good. 4:36 to go, first half. The Indians 35, the Warriors 6. And we mentioned as far as the touchdown last week, ran the ball back some 20, 30 yards for the touchdown. Neil Gordon says, sit on the sideline, catch your breath, don't go on for the point after. So I don't know who it was that went on for him, but somehow there was a mix-up in the blocking scheme, and Norman was able to come through the spot vacated by Gibson and block the point after.
Big DeMont on the sideline there with a well-deserved
there he is.
Congratulations. And
Sands helmet.
He's going to make a point to say when he goes in the backfield as a blocking back, give me the ball, coach. I can get the job done.
If you're John Yacino, what has to be going through your mind at this point?
Well, Penn Hills came in averaging 26 points a game. That average will go up a little bit, 35. They scored twice now. That's just a little under. They're a little under a 2 minute span.
We're flanked by Rich Emmert of the Tribune Review, and he says
3 times in about a 5.5 minute span.
He says the Warriors should go deep on first down.
Well, they need some kind of spark before the half.
Almost it's points of going deep every play. Zakia, high and short again, taking at the 15-yard line. It's Schmidt. He spins his way to the 33.
If this keeps up in the second half, Bill, Penn Hills will be going deep into the night at Three River Stadium next week. Garrett Schmidt.
Still looking into the fact of who we can televise that game or not. Still looking for sponsors, as we always are.
And once again, we're grateful to the folks at Hooters for sponsoring tonight's first half. Garrett Schmidt, in our past lives, their future job, we had worked with his grandparents.
Yes, we did. Nice folks.
We wish him luck, but not too much luck throughout tonight.
We wish him health.
Yes, that's good.
Short drop by Zimmerman. He's able to get the ball to Merjanovic, who's in a foot race now to the end zone, and he trips over the 20-yard line.
He came up. He pulled a muscle.
He is coming up, pulling his leg, and he goes down at the 15-yard line, and that saved a touchdown, I believe. If he doesn't come up lame, I think he gets into the end zone.
63 yards, and I totally agree with you, Bill.
Give credit to Zimmerman. He was able to get the pass away to Merjanovic on the rush. And again, credit Merjanovic. He pulled the ball just off the turf.
He is rushing. He got up on his own and got to the sideline. Is he still in the game? Yeah, he is. He didn't go to the sideline. He was grabbing the back of his leg towards his right hamstring. But there he is, split out as the man closest in the triplets. He's in the slot to the left.
Probably felt a twinge and dropped. Zimmerman pitches to Gabbers over the near side. Corey Connors in pursuit. And Connors slows him down enough to let Ronnie Graham come in. Connors and Graham on the tackle after Gabbers picks up about 4. If you're Penn Trafford, you can't be thinking field goals.
Absolutely not. It looked like initially Gabbers might have wanted to throw that football. They ran to the triplet side, and Penn Hills takes a timeout.
As we have the timeout, again, let's thank the folks at Hooters for sponsoring tonight's broadcast, making it possible, bringing this to you. Again, in the playoffs, we are faced with confiscatory restraints by the WPIAL, making this broadcast possible. The folks at Hooters have made it possible to bring this game to you tonight, so hopefully we encourage you to make sure you stop in at any Hooters restaurants and thank them, the Hooters folks at Station Square. And in Minerva, in fact, it's not in Minerva, it's in Wilkins Township.
Wilkins Township.
We will give the folks at Wilkins credit. They're often the forgotten folks.
That's their brand new store. You know, that's
on Route 22 across from.
Speaking of further coaches, Joe Donchik, right down in front of us, is the head man at Fox Chapel, formerly the head man and AD here at Valley High School.
So going out to Hooters and thank the folks for making this game possible. Tell them to say broadcast, sponsor Three Rivers too. Of course, the Indians still have first half to finish. In the second half, Penn Trafford Warrior offense very potent, very dangerous. They can almost score from anywhere, as we saw in 2 plays ago. Zimmerman again with a deep drop, looking for Gabbers. With the ball thrown near the goal line. A pass was intended for Marco Thomas. The ball underthrown. Nice coverage by Damian Germany.
Well, this offense that they run is downright scary as far as pass patterns go. It's almost like a Chinese fire drill. They have 3 men split out to the right this time, 2 men go in the pass pattern to the left. Plenty of options for a quarterback to look at, and that time it was Thomas at the goal line, and the pass by Zimmerman was just a little bit short.
In motion is Jacobs. Zimmerman, the ball picked off by the psychotic one. King Jeremy the wicket. Flags fly as Jeremy George is brought down at the 24-yard line after picking off the Zimmerman pass.
They returned it from about the 3.
The third INT for Zimmerman. Excuse me, the second. I'm still thinking of Gibson from last week.
Well, that's worth 2.
Yes, it is. I'm thinking Gibson at 2 tonight, but it's one from last week.
Clipping, a personal foul clipping on the run back.
So they'll march it back inside the 10. The Indians will start off this drive from about the 9-yard line. Their worst field position of the game. But they will take it after thwarting a Warrior drive.
Indeed they will, and this has been so far, Bill, the difference, I think, is that Penn Trafford has not really stopped Penn Hills. Penn Hills stopped their only drive with a fumble, but Penn Hills has been able to stop Penn Trafford much throughout the first half.
Augie Livingston. Looks like he's dropped for about, he picks up a couple.
Gain of 3. Had some room, too. There was a big hole. Just couldn't avoid that one tackler.
The Indians starting this drive at their 5-yard line.
Yeah, they moved it back from maybe about the 20.
So picks up close to 4. And if things couldn't be worse for Penn Trafford, the team bus breaks down. Lenny Gilmer scrambling in the backfield and be brought down close to the original line of scrimmage.
He'll lose 2. I think that bus was steamrolled by
Gibson.
The big red anyway in this offense. And now this is a dangerous point here for Penn Hills. Penn Trafford, obviously, if they stop them on the run, they're going to use one of their timeouts and maybe have a little over a minute to try to get the ball back next to the field position. But Penn Hills will be looking to take a first down, but you don't want to be too risque around your own goal line.
Think they'll throw it? Yep.
No.
Yep.
Yep.
Nope. Victor Strader over the right side gets a first down and tacks on a few more. Gets out to the 20-yard line. I told you.
Told you they weren't throwing it. 14 for Vic and a first down, and for all intents and purposes, that would probably kill the first half. And a big first down, you're saying once 35-6. You don't want to give any team any breath of life.
Absolutely
and they
not.
would have had a breath of life if Mladenovich didn't come up lame and trip at about 15. But those are the breaks.
So far in the first half, they're going Penn Hills' way. Gilmer going to throw, and he's sacked. Lenny Gilmer just took a little too much time in looking for Di Natale. He's brought down in the backfield by Ryan Moore.
Well, he had it up and he pump faked and brought it back down. That's what gave Moore the time to get the sack. Loss of 3 for Gilmer, and they had 2 men out there, Di Natale and also Graham. Both he looked towards the right and took it down and took the sack. And you don't want to put it on. And it looks like Penn Trafford is just content to try to go into halftime and regroup the Chargers.
Warriors will get the second half kickoff for what that's worth. Closing in on 40 seconds to go first half. The Indians fake the reverse straighter, and he is brought down for another loss. I think a case of the Indians looking just to kill the clock. And the Warriors not using any of their timeouts. That's sort of the 3rd and long. Called 3rd and close to 20.
That's it. They don't have to snap the football.
I believe the Indians will be content to run out the clock.
And their coaching staff is telling them to look at the clock, and that's it.
To roll at 5 seconds. The Indians start to work their way off the field as the clock does run out. After one half of play, The Penn Hills Indians 35, the Penn Trafford Warriors 6. Tonight's action brought to you by Hooters Family Restaurants and Sports Bars, Station Square, and on Route 22 in Wilkins Township. Stay tuned. Coming up, second half action next. You're watching Penn Hills Indians football 95. The captains on the field before second half action begins here in the WPIAL Quad A semifinals. The Penn Hills Indians 35, not the Seneca Valley Raiders, but the Penn Trafford Warriors 6. Second half action brought to you by the Radisson Hotel and the new sports bar in Monroeville with big screen TVs, over 1,200 hoop games this year. If there is a sporting event going on somewhere in the world, the new sports bar in the Radisson Hotel in Monroeville will have it. They are bringing a second half action tonight.
I'm there next time the Penguinis are blacked out too.
Absolutely. Of course, you stop out there, thank them for helping make tonight's broadcasts possible. Still looking for sponsors to make next week's broadcast possible. If we do not find sponsors, we will not bring you games next week, as what happened last week. And as things stay the course, the Indians will move on to Three River Stadium next Saturday evening.
35 points last week, Bill. It took them the whole game. They got 35 in the first half.
The Indians will kick off to the Warriors to start the second half. Bob, quickly, first half stats.
For Penn Hills, on the ground, unbelievable. 265 yards rushing on 30 carries, 305 yards total offense. Thompson, 14 carries, 176 yards, 4 touchdowns. Strader, 1166 and a touchdown. Livingston with 28. Passing-wise, Zimmerman, 9 of 16 for 163, 2 interceptions, and the 1 touchdown.
And Zakia with a nice high, deep kickoff to the near side of the field, taken, looks like by Gabrish at the 15. Gabrish gets himself a lane, but it quickly closes at the 30. And the Warriors will start the second half at their own 30-yard line. And Bob, what a big interception by Jeremy George at the close of the first half.
Indeed, 2 big plays, Bill, stick out. One is, obviously, is Marjanovic tripping and stopping at the 15, which led to the interception. But any kind of points would have sparked Penn Trafford, and obviously it's a big drive for them. They can put points up in a hurry. Penn Hills has to guard against that, but that changed the complexion, and then Jeremy's interception thwarted them any points at all. Penn Hills able to run out the final 3 minutes of the half, so it's a big interception. Gibson's interception also was big. It led to points.
Marjanovic in motion, gets the pitch beyond the blocking of Gabrish, and it quickly closes down as the team photo comes in to swarm him under. The running attack just not there tonight for the Penn Trafford Warriors, but they're keeping the Indian defense honest. Pickup of about 4. And Bob, also don't forget
they had -5 in the first half. Excuse me.
And also don't forget that also in the first half, even it was in the first quarter, the Warriors were stopped on a 4th down play inside the 15-yard line, and the Indians were able to take over. So there was 2 possibilities for touchdowns in the first half for the Penn Trafford Warriors, and it really definitely would have had a different complexion on this game. Ronnie Graham with the pressure on Zimmerman, and he's sucked under with Damon Gibson on top. Connors, Gibson, and Graham. And Gibson helps up his future teammate.
You can't tell me Ronnie Graham wasn't held on that play, even though he got on the tackle. And that's the second time tonight that Zimmerman's been sacked. The first time was for a loss of 1. This time for a loss of about 7.
The Penn Trafford Warriors with a 10-game winning streak on the line tonight. The Indians have a 15-game streak. The Warriors have not lost since the opening night of the season when they lost to the North Hills Indians 33-21. And Ronnie Graham breaks the play.
That'll be the first penalty of the evening against Penn Hills. Only the second penalty on either team. We had one also that was...
You knew Graham was coming. Mark off 5. It will be close to the original line of scrimmage. Said it before, I'll say it again. I hate that rule. That's got to change. I got to give him a chance to get out of the neutral zone. Also, it slows the game down. Zimmerman deep drop. Indians rushing 3, the ball batted at the line of scrimmage by Damon Gibson. Gibson gets up the mitt. And the ball comes tumbling down.
That'll be stinging a little bit. Damon's second consecutive week, he's having a big game. As is his defense, has been underrated all year.
So the Warriors will punt. Strader and Thompson
I think, Bill, in the Plum game, which was week 4, opening week of the Quad East season, Penn Hills had obviously so far their toughest game. We still have the second half to play here. I'll finish this thought. Watch out for the fake. They have a man in motion.
Flambar does kick it away, and Thompson takes it at the 40. Brought down immediately by Garrett Schmidt on a return of about 3. And the Indians start their opening drive, still up by 29 with 9:51 to go, third quarter. Again, second half action brought to you by the Radisson Hotel and their new sports bar. Radisson Hotel near the mall in Monroeville. Big screen TVs, any sporting event anywhere in the world will be on one of their TVs.
I don't know these, excuse me, the Survivor Series. But anyway,
we can only hope.
The point I was trying to make was that since that game, Penn Hills has been tinkering and making changes, effective changes to their pass defense. And though Penn Trafford has 163 yards passing tonight, it's still been effective.
Victor Schrader gets popped at the 44, but spins ahead to the 46-yard line.
And Bill, it's been effective. They've changed their rushing schemes. They've blitzed. Charles Britt has come into the defensive backfield. And they've changed things up to the point where it hasn't been exploited as much. I mean, Penn Trafford has a lot of yardage, and 63 of those came on the big pass there for Brzenovich. But the changes that the coaching staff has made have been very, very effective.
Hoggy Livingston busts across the right side, and he's still on his feet. Kevin McCoy holds him up and drags him down to the 35-yard line. Hoggy Livingston looked like he was ready to fall over, and Kevin McCoy gave him his balance, returned his balance back. And Livingston picks up the first down and gets down into Warrior territory at the 34. As you talk about a lot of players having big seasons and a lot of the adjustments, you really have to give credit to the Penn Hills coaching staff. They've really done their homework this season, and they've really prepared each and every game differently, and they've also prepared very well. They made all the adjustments when necessary. Victor Strader up the gut looking for the face mask call. Strader down to the 28-yard line.
Bill, the changes they've made with their pass defense, they've also made a few slight changes with their passing offense, and it's been effective, and witnessed the 40-yard completion tonight. But I think stemming from that Central Catholic game where they came out on a few plays and they just dared them to stop the pass, and that helps take a little bit of the pressure out the running game.
Strader gets the first down, looking for more. Still on his feet at the 15. That's where he'll be stopped. Victor Strader, he doesn't run off some of the longest runs, but he runs off some of the most creative. He'll get a breather as little big man Dwayne Thompson comes in. Thompson and Strader, teammates since midget football.
What a tandem, and you talk about Graham, but you talk about the backfield next year. Strader, Thompson, Gilmer, all coming back. They're all juniors.
And don't forget about Ronnie Graham. Nothing doing there for Thompson. Gets maybe a yard. Flags fly near the line of scrimmage. You usually know what that means.
Yep, the dreaded holding call.
And that's exactly what it is. If the umpire throws it, you can almost bet your booty you're walking back.
Those are the referee. Those are two guys who will catch most of the holding calls. I'm firmly convinced that there may be holding on every play in a football game. At every level.
It's just a matter of degrees.
Makes it second and 19, for the Indians after the
closing
10.
in on 7 minutes to go, third quarter. And it's Victor Strader, touchdown Penn Hills. Victor Strader, 25 yards, and the Indians go up 41-6. And for anyone who says the Indians do not throw enough,
who needs to throw?
Whew. Wake up. Indians, what, 1 of 1 passing tonight?
1 of 1 passing.
So there.
His second touchdown. See the 25-yarder.
stays in to hold.
Put Strader up at 106 now. So double century mark for the tandem of TD, DT, and Big Vic.
Dave Zakia stays perfect on the Knights. Now 42-6. Penn Hills, 6:59 to go, third quarter. Action brought to you by the Radisson Hotel and Sports Bar in Monroeville, for which we say thank you.
Let me ask you a question, Bill.
Yes.
We also say thank you, but we know probably Seneca's coach is here. We know Jim Renner's here.
What do they have to be thinking?
You think they're going to practice trying to stop the run? And it's another test of Penn Hills coaching staff. You have to continuously add more wrinkles.
You know when you play the Penn Hills Indians, they're going to run the football, and all these teams are coming in with 9-man fronts.
Tonight they made a statement, though. It's obvious that they say, here it is. We're coming at it. We're going to ram it right up the middle, right at you, right down your throat.
We're running the football. Stop it.
Make us change it. And they're not. Penn Trafford has not been able to do it. Obviously trailing by 36 points. And barring any minor miracles, this team is going to be playing on the turf next week.
Well, if you keep winning at bingo, you're not going to start playing Keno. That's for sure. Zakia's kick. High. Semi-short.
Schmidt.
And Zakia in on the tackle. Dave Zakia comes the kicker, makes the tackle at the 30. Well, his tackle started at the 30. Schmidt was brought down at the 20. Give him the progress.
If you're winning a bingo, don't put a Keno. I'm kind of jealous. I didn't think of that one myself.
I just made that up too.
But if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely.
And obviously tonight it's not. And all year Penn Hills has rushed the ball.
If you talk to Neil Gordon, he'll say he'll run a 46 blast, and if it keeps picking up 5, 6, 7, 8 yards, he'll keep running that play until it's stopped.
And it's intelligent coaching, because if it works, if it keeps continuing to work, you shouldn't change anything else.
Short drop by Zimmerman, the ball thrown up in the air towards Schmidt, out of bounds. Dwayne Thompson on the coverage. That ball thrown, the only place it really could have been, that's to the inside.
And that's, Bill, looking at it as a quarterback, that's where you want to throw the football. It's either going to be incomplete or caught by your receiver. And good coverage, though, this time by Thompson. And we've had so far 2 plays, I guess, really, of interaction between Gibson and his future teammate Tony Zimmerman.
You think we're
sack and the INT?
I think if they need defense, you're going to be coming on every play. Because you know the Warriors are going to have to throw the football.
Here they come with 6 men. Livingston and Graham are going to blitz. Butt fake.
And we have movement on the left tackle. Nick Watson jumped. Also, Nick Brown in at the linebacking position. Looks like they're giving Hoggy Livingston a break.
John Davidson is, or Don Chichilla, excuse me. I meant John Davidson, who was in the play earlier. But Chichilla, you can see he is basically, he's playing a safety position, but you'll see him move depending on which side Penn Trafford splits their wide receivers. When they send their triplets out either to the right or to the left, you see Chichilla is walking back from the number 40, walking back from the line of scrimmage. He will take off. They split out to the right, or excuse me, to the left this time, and you see Chichilla goes over to make the coverage. Thompson in single coverage on the near side.
Gabbert on the draw, gets dropped in the backfield. Nick Brown comes in to make the tackle. Penn Hills Indians secondary, Dwayne Thompson, number 22. 40 is Chichilla. Number 2, Damian Germany. Also in there is Charis Britt, number 19.
And actually, you would include Jeremy George. He's usually the defensive end, which is kind of like a linebacker in the Penn Hills defensive scheme. But he's been basically in pass coverage the entire evening, Bill, which is a different role for Jeremy, because usually he rushes from his defensive end position.
Of course, Jeremy George with the interception in the first half. Deep drop by Zimmerman, under pressure. The pass completed to Marjanovic. He's brought down to 34. Donnie Chichilla and Jeremy George there, along with Charles Britt.
Well, Penn Trafford will punt, but going to give credit to Zimmerman. That was not the intended play, and he looked off. Probably his third option was Marjanovic, and that's a sign of a good quarterback. We can look off, even though it's only a net of about 5-yard gain, and they still punt. Obviously, Penn Hills had great coverage on the first several options for Zimmerman.
Flambard to kick.
Fake.
He was going to fake. There it is. The Indians were standing up waiting for Gibson in pursuit of Gabbers, and Gabbers will be short of the first down. You can't blame Penn Trafford for throwing the fake, but the Indians weren't rushing. They were going to let him kick it. I think they were checking it all the way, and the Indians will take over at the 37-yard line. That there was good coaching by the Penn Hills Indians.
You definitely know
the coaches said, you stand there and you watch them because you know they're going to fake it. You know the Indians are up by 36. You don't want to give the Warriors any chance to get back into this football game. Still 4:54 clock running here in the third quarter. Strader again. Down to the 33. So now it'll be third and we'll call it a long 6.
Second.
Excuse me, second. I don't think there's any doubt of what the Indians are going to do. Got Livingston and Strader in the I formation, and again it's Vick up the gut. And he gets down to the 30. Now it's third down, and we'll call it about 3.
I'll tell you what, Bill, another touchdown, and you're going to see the reserves come in, and which is good. They're going to have time to rest most all the starters for next week. And you're saying, well, still 3:52 left, but this is pretty much in the bag.
Thompson comes in, Strader comes out.
42-6, if you're just joining us. The Big Red all over the Penn Trafford Warriors.
I got a feeling we're going to see Livingston on this one. And flags fly.
Well, if it's against Penn Trafford, it would be a first down for the Indians.
That's against the Indians. That's some movement.
League procedure. It'll be third and about 8.
They'll just merely change the running play.
I'm sure third and Penn Hills, even if they're short, I think they would still go for it.
I'll tell you what, the Indians look like they're going to do the turf next Saturday at Three River Stadium, and we'll talk about changes in field conditions and configurations after this play, which could be advantageous to the Indians. And it's Dwayne Thompson goes over the pile down to the 34. It'll be fourth and about 8.
As David Letterman say, 2 words: turf shoes. You'll be seeing those next week.
Absolutely. I think you have an advantage because they don't change the. You play at the pro configurations where you see the hash marks on the line of scrimmage. They're more to the outside on the high schools. They're closer to the middle of the field on the pro fields.
I think Dave Sakia's coming, and Penn Hills will. They may get called for delay of game, which wouldn't hurt their cause, but I think they're going to fight. But we talked in the opening about deterioration of this field, and it hasn't really.
No, it's done a nice job on it.
Nice. Penn Hills is intentionally going to take the 5 yards.
Did not look well earlier in the week.
This is punt number 1 for Dave Zakia.
Yes, it is.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
But anyway, back to the way this thing's set up at Three River Stadium. You have the hash marks closer to the field, which is sort of an advantage to any kind of rushing team because you have 2 wide sides of the field. No matter which side you're on, you're always at a wide side. You never really have a near side of the field. So it could be advantageous to a running team.
Which was Jim Render's point last year, playing against McKeesport.
Because, McKeesport, it's more of an advantage, I guess, towards like an option team like McKeesport. The Indians just sort of run the ball straight at you no matter where you are, so it doesn't make much of a difference. But the only real change is that the goalposts are closer together, which, as we saw a few years ago, cost North Hills a championship. Or at least championship all on its own. Warriors try to rush. Zakia just pooches it straight up in the air. And it gets a Warrior bounce. And the Indians smartly come back to cover it up. Jeremy George does. I'm surprised no Warriors came over and picked it up and started running, which they could have.
Well, that won't be good for the punting average of Dave Zakia, which is at 2. Of course, his extra points are looking good, and obviously
he's 6 for 6. The Warriors take over at their own 37 with 2:13 to go third quarter. What was it? A few years ago, North Hills and gosh, I can't remember who it was. It wasn't North Hills tied. Do you remember, dear Bob? They kicked a field goal and it hit the upright. If it was in a high school field, it would have been good. North Hills would have won the championship outright.
Was it, are you thinking of the Gateway game?
Nope. There we go. I'm thinking, it was Butler maybe. I think on the stadium.
Or is it St. Clair?
Is it St. Clair? Northville St. Clair?
You're thinking, how far back are you thinking?
Oh gosh, I can't remember. That was only about, what? No, we'll ask Rich Emmer, the Tribune Review, if he remembers that. I think it was Gateway.
Simple minds think alike once again.
There's no Gatorade.
If you're looking for it.
Zimmerman stands in the pocket, gets the pass away to Schmidt.
Took a pop
It's
from
a little big man
Jamal
skis it
Gibson.
for no gain. Actually picks up about a yard.
Picks up 5. It was a penalty.
Oh, pardon me.
Actually, about 6. Once again, Gibson and White in the interior line. Dina Talley, Corey Connors, and the linebacking core of Graham and Livingston have done a tremendous job tonight pressuring Tony
Here
Zimmerman.
comes Ronnie Graham, gets right in. Passes complete to Gabbers, and he fumbles on the far side of the field, and the Indians recover. Jeremy George with the fumble recovery. The ball stripped by Charles Britt, and the Indians take over.
That was a lateral.
At the 47. Either way, it was a fumble.
Well, that we cannot dispute.
And Nick Brown coming into the offense. Looks like Brown, Strader, and Thompson in the backfield.
Third turnover, by the way, of the evening for Penn Trafford. 2 via the air, 1 on the fumble by Matt Gabbers.
Interesting formation now. Strader was in a slot, he fumbles the ball, Gilmer picks it up. Does a nice job to get back to the line of scrimmage. Indians looking for the old slot around.
Indeed it was. Well, that's what the play was. Give credit to Lenny Gilmer for picking it up and almost getting back to the line of scrimmage. About a yard short of that. And that will be the final play of the third quarter.
Third quarter does wind down, so 12 minutes to go. Penn Hills 42, Penn Trafford 6. Tonight's Penn Hills action being brought to you by the Radisson Hotel and Sports Bar in Monroeville near the mall. Big screen TVs and any sporting event you want to see will be on one of those TVs. Fourth quarter coming your way next. Penn Hills 42, Penn Trafford 6. You're watching Penn Hills Indians Football 95.
Hey, get away from that microphone.
Fourth quarter about to get underway. The Indians up by 36. 12 minutes to go, so they're at the turf at Three River Stadium. Hoggy Livingston up the middle. Looks like he's brought down by the face mask, but it's the shoulder pads. Livingston gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Now it'll be 3rd and 10.
It's 5 carries and 51 yards for Hoggy on the evening, so he's been an effective ball carrier also.
Nick Brown and Garrett Livingston split in the backfield. Gilmer on the option, nobody to pitch to. Now he pitches it to Brown, who gets to the outside, still on his feet, 20, or down to the 30 almost. Close to a first down, or to bring up a 4th.
He's going to be really close to it.
That's a nice running by Nick Brown.
A great job by Gilmer. He was almost parallel to the ground before he pitched that out. You know what? It depends on the spot.
We'll see. Craig Gilmer, the younger brother of Lenny's, in the game.
We're getting a measurement.
See Corey Connors comes into play on the offense. Jared Smith still in at center. Teddy Fitzpatrick, number 50, still in there. Thompson, Strader, and Livingston all in the backfield right now.
Hey, Dave. This Sunday, that's what we're doing to the other traveling league. Sunday.
They check the measurements.
We have a measurement, but the players are obstructing our view, so we'll just have to wait for the official signal.
It looks like it's awfully close.
Which is what? Which is, I have no idea.
It looks like,
which is inches.
It's a lace short.
Put a piece of mud on that ball.
So we'll see what the Indians do here on 4th down.
This team is just, they're taking absolutely, they've been busting out of the huddle quickly. Penn Hills has been enthusiastic that much into the game, and obviously it showed from the opening drive to their domination so far tonight of the Penn Trafford Warriors.
Great crowd on hand tonight. A lot of Penn Hills fans in attendance.
Kudos to the fans too. They made a lot of noise, and we talked about the 12th man in our opening, and they've been every bit of that tonight.
See a lot of businesses around Penn Hills starting to put the Big Red, Go Big Red signs in the windows. Great to see that. Of course, don't forget any of your businesses, if you want to sponsor one of our broadcasts next week from Three River Stadium, give the Penn Hills Boosters a call. John Zakia, father of kicker Dave. You might want to give him a call. Get you to sponsor one of our game next week. Victor Strader gets the first down. Hooters Restaurant sponsored the first half. Second half tonight being sponsored by the Radisson Hotel and Sports Bar in Monroeville next to the mall. Big screen TVs all over the place. If you want to see something that's going on in the world of sports, that's the place to go.
Can I say it?
You may.
Because the WPIAL puts confiscatory restraints on us.
Yes, they do.
During the playoffs.
I'm glad you used it in the proper context there, Bob. Victor Strader, not much there. Just gets over the 30. Under 10.5 to go, 42-6 Penn Hills. Bob, it's all academic from here, I believe.
It's been academic pretty much since the Jeremy George interception. They don't really jump on that too quickly, but for all intents and purposes, Projetovich stopping, tripping at the 15, and then the subsequent interception 2 plays later really stymied Penn Trafford's chances. And you got to give credit to Penn Hills. They had their mind on one thing: we're going to run the football, and they did it. And defensively, they said, we're going to stop you, and they've been kind of effective.
And there goes Victor Strader up the near sideline, gets knocked out of bounds inside the 15.
He was doing a little bit of the punishing there, though.
Picks up the first down. The Indians driving again.
Give Victor a gain of 15. Another first down for Penn Hills.
Of course, yeah, I mentioned this yet before. I want to do it now we have a chance. I want to really congratulate Woodland Hills and their TV staff for an excellent job that they've done this season. Gilmer on a quick look into B.J. DiNatale. The ball batted down on a nice defensive play by Tim Evans. DiNatale was there.
You're saying, well, how can you throw a 42-6 game? But Penn Hills coaching staff knows that the other teams are scouting this game, and they're going to try to plant a little bit of a seed of doubt.
Absolutely. You got to give them different little looks. You don't want to see 10 men at the line of scrimmage when you get in this team. Strader and Livingston are split. Craig Gilmer in the slot on the right side, and it's Vic busting to the outside inside the 10. One man to beat down near the goal line. And it'll be marked first and goal at the goal line. Victor Strader just short of the end zone, marking at the 1. Nice running by.
He had a nice cut, too, right at the end. It looked like he was going to, on the first down play to the 14, he went head-on with the defender. This time, he made a nice cut. It just came up a yard short. Now we have what?
We have a penalty being marked off against the Indians.
So all for naught. So
legal motion.
Scratch my comment. All. It was a nice run, nonetheless.
Absolutely. So now instead of having the ball at the 1, we have it at the 19.
Second and 15 at the 19.
About 18 yards on the motion penalty. So they won't be charged with 5.
Not that it matters in a close game. And that's true. We talk about that throughout our broadcast, Bill, how the penalty only marks as 5 yards, but actually net,
it cost them 18.
Depending on the play, it cost them 18 yards.
Hoggy busting through. Picks up about 4. I said the Woodland Hills students doing a fine job this year on their broadcast. I certainly wanted to congratulate them. A lot of great things done locally, Bob.
As well they should. High school football is big around the western Pennsylvania area. And
it's huge. In fact, the other night I was going through the great, vast wasteland we call television. I wound up on channel 40. Watched light music. Well, show called His Place, and that's all produced locally. They do a fine job out there.
Produced in Wall, PA. You didn't think I knew that, did you?
you're in the eastern suburbs and you see that tall tower flashing in the distance, that's the Channel 40 tower. Victor Strader tries to spin to the outside. Nothing doing there. Picks up maybe a 1. Now 4th down. You know, even though it's 42-6, I'd really like to see Dave Zakia come in and try and kind of a long field goal. This will only be about 33 yards.
It's not going to happen, Bill.
I know.
As much as we'd like to see it. As much as we like Dave and applaud his effort tonight.
As much as we like his dad and applaud his efforts to get us sponsors to broadcast next week's game.
That's true. It's just, it's obviously the smart thing. Just go for it. Because you're going to take that much more time off the clock as
the clock continues to run around 8 minutes to go.
Towards Three Rivers.
Lenny Gilmer on the keeper over the right side, crosses the 10. Well short of the first down, but the Warriors will be pinned inside their own 10-yard line. Need 36 points in the next 7:45. Just to force overtime, as a lot of the faithful continue to file out.
So let me see here. If I get my direction straight, this direction would be...
We're going to be heading east to Three Rivers.
We're going to head east. You head east down to you head down to the river. You head east down to the Allegheny River. Make a left. You go north. That takes you to Three River Stadium. Via boat, anyway.
Not much doing there. It's Gavrish.
They pretty much shut Gavrish down. The thing about Gavrish, Bill, he is...
Only a sophomore?
He is only a sophomore. And with 2 good seasons, he's over 1,600 yards or close to it anyway after tonight. This year, he'll be over 2,000 yards and putting him on pace to try to become the first WPIAL Quad A running back to get 4,000. I'm sure Mr. Arrington will have a lot to say about that next year. He's been around, this is his 8th year at North Hills?
The Indians still with the blitz. Zimmerman hit in the end zone. A pass thrown out. And in and out of the hands of Garrett Schmidt.
Ronnie Graham with the pressure on Zimmerman. And you think he has nerves of steel? He waited till the very absolute last second to get rid of that football, and he was in his own end zone.
Zimmerman's certainly shown a lot of poise tonight. Give him a lot of credit. He'll be playing at Pitt next season along with DeMond Gibson.
But it's pretty much been, they've shut down Gavrish. They've taken away some of the other receivers, and it's pretty much
Gibson
all
comes off.
Zimmerman. I think it's a standing ovation, and deserves it.
The thundering herd, DeMond Gibson.
Thumbs up from
Sean Buterbaugh coming in to replace him. Again, Zimmerman throws the ball and it's completed. That's Gavrish being stuck by Di Natale. So they get a loss on the play. Bob, I mentioned to you at halftime, but the last time the Penn Hills Indians won a playoff game at Valley Memorial Stadium, 1977. The Indians beat Dan Marino and the Central Catholic Vikings and went on to win the WPIAL championship. Could history repeat itself?
You're hoping, and we're hoping, a portent of things to come right there.
Yes. You remember that from English class, don't you?
Actually, I do some crossword puzzles in my spare time.
Pass complete to the far side, and the Indians there waiting for him.
It's going to be short of the first down.
Well short, and I think if you're the Warriors,
that's it.
You want to put it, you got to punt from there, but they did turn the ball over already?
On downs.
Oh, that's right. Of course you want to go for it. You know, down, you have nothing to lose.
And it was at about the Penn Trafford 13.
Ronnie Graham coming off the field, as well as B.J. Di Natale.
And every one of these players should get a well-deserved round of applause. They have dominated this game from the opening kickoff.
Brown and Livingston in the backfield. And it's Nick Brown, and he's rudely introduced to the game.
Hello.
Eric Schussler. Jared Smith still in at center. Teddy Fitzpatrick in. Jeremy George coming out. Corey Connors in at right tackle, flanked by Fitzpatrick. Sean Buterbaugh, Kevin McCoy, Craig Gilmore on the left side. John Davidson at the right end. And it's Nick Brown, close to the 10. Indians at this point, I'm sure, aren't really thinking points. They're thinking kill the clock. It's
tell you what, Bill, these players are going to be presented with an opportunity of a lifetime next week. Win or lose in the championship game, something they're always going to remember. They played a football game on the hallowed turf at Three Rivers Stadium. When they start out practice in the summer, this is the goal you set. And,
the road to Three Rivers.
Penn Hills has accomplished everything but the last stop on that road in a convincing fashion here tonight. And sure, next week it's going to be something special for everyone involved with the program.
Flags fly. As they say, it's on to Trey Riv.
Troy Rivera.
As Mike White likes to say.
Are you?
As the team has taught him to say it.
It's been 15 years since they've been in the championship.
1979.
16. Legal procedure.
So that's why you have to cherish these moments as they come. The Indians, they did win 4 championships in a row back in the 70s, late 70s. But it's been 16 years.
But the games were not held at Three River Stadium.
No, they were at Pitt
Stadium.
In fact, no, one was at Mount Lebanon.
Right.
One was at Mount Lebanon. Penn Hills beat Butler. In fact, the lights went out one night and they finished the game the following night. In fact, I think the game ended in a tie.
All hallowed turf, but not as hallowed as Three Rivers.
Nick Brown again. Bring up now 4th down for the Indians.
Bill, Nick Brown is a junior, and they'll be looking for someone possibly to fill that Hoggy Livingston role in the offense.
I think that's where we will see.
Nick Brown is at 6 foot, 193 pounds.
We'll see. We'll see. Hoggy goes at
206, so kind of close.
So Hoggy and Nick in the backfield. Flags fly again. 3:39 to go here in the 4th quarter, and I have the feeling it's going to be the longest 3.5 minutes that you will see. A lot of the folks from Penn Hills out tonight. We saw Frank Grieco, school board president, in attendance. Penn Hills mayor in attendance tonight. Recovering well. And it's Hoggy off the left side. Gets inside the 20, well short of the first down, and the Warriors take over again on offense with 3:16 to go here in the 4th quarter, which is brought to you by the Radisson Hotel and Sports Bar in Monroeville. Stop out and enjoy just about any sporting event you can think of on one of their big screen TVs. It's a basketball game going on somewhere, they got it. It's a hockey game, they got it. It's a football game, they got it. If it's Australian rules football, they got it. I think they have this year's Welsh cricket tournament. Zimmerman lays it out on the far side of the field. Going way out of bounds. Pass intended for Marjanovic.
How about the World Championship high live from Buenos Aires? Can we get that?
Wow. They got it. We'll have to look into the Survivor Series, but I'll imagine they got it. Nick Brown's going to be rushing in the linebacking position. Here he comes up the middle. Zimmerman still looking. Pass complete to Schmidt, who breaks one tackle, but does not get away from Jeremy George and Donnie Chichilla. And is Jeremy George pumped up?
Jeremy getting a little hello, how do you do?
He is psychotic. What a football player he is.
2:47 left, 4th quarter. First down of the 2nd half. Penn Trafford. Jeremy comes off and he gets a well-deserved hand.
As well he should. What a season he's had.
Jeremy the Wicked.
He'll play next week at Three River Stadium. Again, here comes the rush. Zimmerman stepping back, throwing downfield. Flags fly. Marjanovic, the lone receiver amongst 5 red jerseys.
Well, he gets the flag, and it will be most likely where it was dropped in a legal contact or an interference against Penn Hills, which would be 15 in the first half.
And it's defensive holding. It'll be an automatic first down.
Which is also a first down.
You know, you have to really be happy for Neil Gordon. A lot of folks, criticize him probably unfairly, saying they've made it to the playoffs, but they haven't been able to win the big games or advance beyond the semifinals. But tonight, he's going to be moving on to the finals. Flags fly. Looks like the center a little early on the snap count.
Yeah, it did look like that.
Neil Gordon, as a head coach, has already won one championship. WPIAL championship.
I know the answer.
Okay, name the sport.
You're trivializing. Baseball.
What year?
1988.
78.
1978. Come on, Neil. Neil was coaching at 19 back then, wasn't he? He was age 19.
Pass complete. Justin Cole allows it to go no farther. 1978. Penn Hills' Indian baseball team won the state championship. Neil Gordon, the head coach. My brother was on that team.
Neil was fresh out of college then, wasn't he?
I think I think not only did he coach high school, but he was still in high school at the time.
Player coach Neil Gordon leads Penn Hills to the championship.
Gabbers on the draw, gets away from Livingston, but the T-Rex brings him down. Devon Morrell being the TX. Anthony the Slender comes in.
That's
number 72.
12-yard pickup, the longest for Gabbers. Corey Connors comes off, and what an outstanding job he has done, not only tonight, but all year. That's it. Someone slap that man's shoulder pads. He deserves it.
Pass intended for Marjanovic. Morrell on the coverage. Scott Caravlan also in on the defensive line. Justin Cole in there, Nick Brown, DJ DiNatale, Charles Britt, Anthony DiMaria, Devon Morrell, Sean Buderbaugh. We failed to mention anyone. These kids getting into play in the semifinal game. They're all looking forward to getting to Three Rivers next week. Deep drop by Zimmerman. Throwing deep down the near side of the field, a pass. Incomplete.
Good
Is that Chichilla on the coverage? It certainly was.
That was a great play by
Donnie Chichilla bats it away. It was intended for Marjanovic.
Well, that's an exact replica of the touchdown, the only touchdown Penn Trafford has scored. And this time, Chichilla was the defensive back. He looked up at the last second, was able to deflect that pass away.
Give a lot of credit to the Penn Hills Indian defense tonight. The scheme, they're bringing they're rushing a lot, bringing in the blitz. Zimmerman very effective on that short drop, hitting the backs, hitting the receivers. They've taken that away from him tonight, and he's had to take the deep drop. That's giving the secondary time to make the adjustments, get into the coverage. Gabbers on the draw. DiMaria hits him first. Flags fly. Brought down in the backfield by DiNatale. Also Sean Buderbaugh. But Anthony DiMaria disrupted that from the beginning. Face mask being called against the Indians.
On the scoreboard anyway. And for the seniors, their last shot at high school football. For Penn Trafford, that is.
Marjanovic in motion to the right. Zimmerman rolling, looking. And he throws the ball away to avoid the sack. Warriors in the area, no grounding will be called, but that's Sean Buderbaugh with the pressure.
Bill, point we touched on.
Rashad Reed
comes in. A point we touched on several times. You're looking at a little bit of the future of the Pitt Panthers here tonight with Zimmerman and DeMont Gibson. Both, I'm sure, will be starring, if not even next year, but at least a few years down the road for Pitt.
But I'm sure that'll be the last pass Tony Zimmerman completes to DeMont Gibson.
Oh, unless they have a tackle eligible.
I think we'll see Gibson on defense next year. What do you think?
I would tend to agree with you.
Pass complete to the near side of the field. Short of the first down, but coming up with it is Robbie Jacobs. Down to the 16. Brings up 3rd and short now for the Warriors, and they call timeout. school son told me to tell him if the tackle pinches, call it Gus.
Call it Gus.
Call it Gus. I can say last week I stopped in the office, brought my son with me. Little Kaylee! No, that's Fedco. Little Joey and Coach Gordon said, come on over and sit in the big guy's chair. Took my son, was sitting with him in the chair, just teaching him all this football stuff.
No boxes.
The kid was just looking at him, watching him.
Future lineman of the future there, possibly.
He said, he goes, you come play football for me. You better remember this.
Let's talk about the feeder program. He's starting them early. Or he was feeding them either way.
Zimmerman rolling away from the pressure, throwing the ball into the end zone. Touchdown. Garrett Schmidt. Justin Cole just not being able to jump high enough to bat it down. And Cole brings in the touchdown with 42 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, but it's been academic for quite some time. It's now 42-12, Indians.
Unbalanced line, and now they come over, but I'm sure they're still going to go for, since there's no holder. Now here comes the holder.
Kevin Topper.
Yeah, Kevin Topper.
Try to point it after.
Marco Thompson.
Why not go for two?
Why not? I'm not sure they still made from this position. I wonder if that was intentional.
Topper rolling, and he just...
That wasn't intentional.
Well, nowhere. Flags fly.
That's
They're going to call Dolly Chichil on the face mask.
Face mask.
The question is, do they do this over? I
Here's
believe
my
they do.
question to you. Here's Marco Thomas, the holder. He's kneeling down. He gets a snap. Is he down? Should they fake it?
No, holders aren't down.
Because his knee is down.
That is right. I think they had to change it specifically just for that.
Should Topper come up to kick and then fake the kick and his knee is down? Even though it's all academic, we're just speculating here. They're going to probably go for two now from the 1.5 yard line.
No, Topper's still in there. No, yeah, he's still in there. In fact, they're kicking from the... They marked them back 5 yards.
Oh, so the penalty was on Penn Trafford. Sorry, Don. Was not face masking against it.
Kick is up. It's good. Now with 42 seconds to go, fourth quarter, 42-13, Penn Hills. Second half tonight sponsored by the Radisson Hotel and Sports Bar in Monroeville, next to the mall. Up into their big screen TVs in any sporting event you want. Certainly we appreciate the folks at the Radisson Hotel for their sponsorship tonight to make this broadcast possible. Also, first half tonight brought to you by the Hooters restaurant chain in Station Square and next to Sears out in Wilkins Township on Route 22. Thank them very much. Certainly I hope all fans of Penn Hills Indians football go out to not only the Radisson Sports Bar, but also Hooters, which has excellent food, by the way. Excellent. Also plenty of televisions to watch any sporting events as well. And thank them for making tonight's broadcast possible. Also looking for sponsors for next Saturday night's broadcast from Three Rivers Stadium, the Penn Hills Indians, and either the Upper St. Clair Panthers or the Seneca Valley Raiders.
Which you will know the opponent by the time of this broadcast.
Absolutely.
But that is tomorrow afternoon on the turf at Newman Stadium in North Allegheny.
Dwayne Thompson takes the kick and downs it at the 22-yard line. The Indians need to down on it once.
That's what they were back there for, just for hands, just to do that.
But anybody who would like to, any business in the viewing area, which not only includes Penn Hills, but also all of the Woodland Hills School District, which includes Churchill, Forest Hills, Wilkinsburg, Swissvale, all those areas, not to be totally inclusive. But if you'd like to help make our broadcast possible,
please do.
Please, we encourage you. Please call the boosters. Call Mr. John Zakia. His number will be on the screen. Because the WPIAL charges us a lot to do this. Dave Zakia. And a drop on it. So make sure you call Dave's dad. That'll do it. The Indians come onto the field. The final score, the Penn Hills Indians 42. The Penn Trafford Warriors 13. The Indians are going to Three Rivers. It's all official now. The Penn Hills Indians will play Saturday night, 8 o'clock at Three Rivers Stadium against the winner of tomorrow afternoon's North Allegheny Upper St. Clair winner. And the Indians tonight just would not be denied. We'll be back to wrap things up. You've been watching Penn Hills Indians Football 95.
Over 12 weeks ago, the Penn Hills Indians made it their goal for 1995 to play on the hallowed turf of Three Rivers Stadium. And after beating the Penn Trafford Warriors tonight here at Valley High School Memorial Stadium, 42-13, the Penn Hills Indians are on their way to Three Rivers Stadium. And Bob, tonight it was another case of the dynamic duo.
Definitely the dynamic duo, the unbelievable backfield tandem of Dwayne Thompson and Victor Strader. Thompson gets 178 yards and 4 touchdowns. Victor Strader, 131 yards and 2 touchdowns. And those guys are just unbelievable, both over 1,000 yards. They were outstanding against Norwin in the first round of the playoffs. They are even better tonight, and a great job by those two Penn Hills rushing the ball. They just basically came out and told Penn Trafford, this is what we're going to do. Stop us if you can. And Penn Trafford couldn't, and obviously the final score showed the Penn Hills dominance, 42-13.
The key to tonight for the Penn Hills, they knew they were going to come out and run the football against a smaller Penn Trafford defense, but the key was how well their defense was going to do against the potent Penn Trafford offense. They come in saying either we're going to rush a bunch or we're going to drop a bunch. Early, they dropped a bunch to see what would happen, and Tony Zimmerman picked him apart on a touchdown drive. They decided to start rushing the quarterback, and that turned the tide.
They did. They were just showing different looks, and early they just had pressure from their 4-down linemen, but when they brought the blitz, that really took away the short draws for Zimmerman. They clogged the passing lanes very well, and we saw the big interception by Damon Gibson, a disguised coverage by Penn Hills where they dropped the lineman back. He picked it off, wanted to rumble in for the second touchdown of his career, but just couldn't quite make it. But nonetheless, it led to a touchdown, and a great job by this coaching staff, as they have done all year. They have tinkered and toyed and added new twists and wrinkles. It just seems like this team gets better every week.
Second week in a row, the Thundering Herd comes up with an interception, that being Damon Gibson. But also Jeremy George thwarting a drive late in the second half to stop Penn Trafford, keep them off the board. Also could have perhaps turned things around a little bit.
Well, the game at that point was 35-6, and 2 plays before that, Jim Marjanovic, their fine running back / receiver for Penn Trafford, had caught a pass up the middle, went 63 yards, but came up laying, tripped, and fell at the 15-yard line. If he scores, it might have changed the complexion a little bit, although Penn Hills was playing very well, so maybe it wouldn't have had effect. But 2 plays after that, Jeremy George ended the drive with the interception, returned it back, but the penalty took it back to the 5-yard line, but it stopped the drive. Penn Hills got the first down, ran out the clock in the first half, and just had the lead to coast with in the second half, and they just played outstanding the whole night. And it was their rushing attack that did it. I talked in the opening about having time of possession. They didn't really need it. They scored in a hurry, but they built up such a big lead that it didn't really matter.
Earlier in the week, field conditions were a concern, but they didn't seem to be much of a factor tonight. The Indians seem to be getting better week after week. Tonight, this was clearly their most difficult opponent of the season, the best team they played, and they just walloped the Warriors.
Indeed, they did. Everyone in the press box, and I guarantee a lot of people in the stands, have to be surprised and impressed with the ease at which Penn Hills defeated Penn Trafford tonight. They just pretty much stymied it. Zimmerman did have with 229 yards, but only the 2 touchdowns and the one at the end of the game. Both to Garrett Schmidt, the second one, really was just to make the score less than it was. But an impressive performance offensively, defensively by Penn Hills, and it's scary. But they are just growing together, maturing together, and playing better and better every week.
Tomorrow afternoon, next week's opponent will be decided, whether it's the Upper St. Clair Panthers or the Seneca Valley Raiders. Seneca Valley took on the Indians earlier this season, gave the Indians fits. The Upper St. Clair Panthers, they've been there 4 straight years.
They know what it takes to win, and Seneca Valley a 14-0 victory over Penn Hills earlier in the season in a tough game, but Penn Hills is developing well, and we'll see what happens next week at Three Rivers Stadium.
And hopefully next week the Penn Hills Indians can turn the lights out on another opponent. We'd like to thank Hooters and the Radisson Hotel in Monroeville for sponsoring tonight's game. If you'd like to help make next week's telecast possible from Three River Stadium, call the Penn Hills Boosters Club. The number will be on the screen. From our broadcast partner Bob Orquist, also Patty and Kevin on the cameras tonight, I'm Bill Navari. Hopefully we'll see you next Saturday night from Three River Stadium as the Penn Hills Indians go for their 5th WPIAL championship. You've been watching Penn Hills Indians Football 95.